Well, and what's interesting, Tom, is that I honestly believe that, every USC, every Mount Royal, there's a percentage of those kids that should become the ambassadors of the coaches. So you got to make sure that there's good coaching at every level. I honestly believe our junior B program should be one of the most well-coached groups, because that group of kids are probably more likely to actually come back and help coach at all levels.
Yeah, well, it used to be a really good program, that junior B, when Stu Peppard was running it, and it was a juvenile A's.
Yeah.
But they got rid of juvenile. There's so many guys like Heatley and Duncan and Poffenroth and guys after that went right out of juvenile and they got scholarships, or they played 1 year junior, with the Buffaloes or whatever, and got scholarships. Now that junior B is kind of like guys. My son played 1 year and guys came to practice or didn't come to practice. You know what I mean? It was kind of a.
This is what I recommended to the Calgary areas. We got 8 teams that nobody really puts the oomph into. I suggested, for the betterment of the kids, go to 4 teams. Give them good coaches, give them scholarship money to go to university, give them a dressing room, make it a sexy environment, so that you have to go make those teams, because the way it is now is exactly what you said. And so we have kids that are leaving to go play in the KHI in BC because it's an experience. We have kids going to Cochrane, Strathmore. So why wouldn't you join in on creating the sexiness right here, so it was convenient for kids to go to school, which is probably where, which is necessary. And at the end of the day, by the time you get to junior B, you shouldn't even have to pay to play in the organization.
Well, they might even play games against Cochrane and all that.
Yeah.
Because junior B is really big in the small towns.
In the small towns, it's huge. And it's also, it's sexy, and it's you have to go make those teams, and I think what's happened in Calgary is that, the letdown for kids after not making midget AAA, or the midget AAA kid who doesn't make junior. What it comes down to is you want to have, because you think about the kid that plays junior B, they're all good kids. They've gotten to that level.
Yeah.
If they had got solid coaching all the way through the quadrants, they become prime ambassadors to come back and coach in the community levels, and also from the age of, see what happens with the elite guys is from the age of 20 to 25, they're too busy. They're playing university or playing state or whatever. But the junior B guys are just going to school. So if you could help them with their school and they're decent coaches, then, put them into a program so that they can make a difference. We don't do a very good job of grooming our own coaches, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
No, we don't, because, you can coach it, go to a weekend thing, and you don't even really have to pay attention. You have to be there, right? And you get your first certification. And, for sure, we need to do a better job of, like in the club system in Europe, they'll have the best guys coaching the little kids.
The little kids, yeah.
Because that's when you really make, that's when you can really make a difference, is when the brain is way more, can pick up things way better and everything.
Well, and they don't create as many bad habits.
No, well, that's the thing, is if you got the good ones in the first part.
In the first part, which I agree with totally. And I think it's one of the avenues that, having just gone through it, Tom, one of the frustrating things was watching how little the amount of games the young kids were playing, like the ages of 6 to 12, because I believe it was Hockey Canada, went to this model where they wanted 95% individual skill development, 5% games.
Starting on that, Carey, on that, the way practice is, if you run a drill practice, which most coaches do, you run a drill practice, I'll go and have video of one player. And they've done all kinds of research on this. A drill practice, someone moves between 7 and a really good one, 11 minutes in an hour. So if you play a game with 3 lines, you're getting 15 minutes. You know, stop time game. It's better to play the game than to stand around in the practices that are no fun.
And it's funner. Like, I mean, and going to what Mike said, you know, having more kids within your own organization play against each other versus traveling to Timbuktu, you know.
Well,
I grew up before the quadrant system.
Yeah.
It was just going to start, and I played at Richmond, and we played all the communities around us. And a lot of our dads didn't have cars, you know. And then that George Boothman, he came and he started the first A team. So Gary Younger and I were the same age, and we played